So I've been also teaching recruiters how to leverage those tools to their advantage on their day-to-day. And that's why I'm here.
Great. And you had some great content. I think your content reached a lot of people. We're using ChatGPT and all your PDFs. So it's great to go to the profile later. I will share all details so you can easily download because you share everything. That's great. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Michael,
can
you introduce
Thank you for having me. I'm the co-founder at Driven Cloud. We're a all-in-one automation tool that pretty much helps automate the full-on workflow that you would have either for recruitment or lead generation, from sourcing, tracking, screening, and also, of course, the outreach. And what we'll be talking about today is primarily centered around our integrations with the generative AI, as we help combine that with our outreach automation in allowing you to not just automate the outreach, but also actually have a auto-generated personalized message for your outreach campaigns. And thank you for having me, Stefan. And I'll be, I'll leave the rest to you.
Great to have you here. I really love your tool. And I think everybody knows it because I reached out to a lot of people. And I believe that they were invited through that tool. So that's, for me, it's pretty amazing. Let's see if I can make this work. I'm trying to get this online. Do we see? What do we see? Let me see. What screen do you see?
I can see another view version of the presentation. Yeah.
Okay, great. We did a short poll, and I was really curious about where do you as a recruiter sort of come from. So most of the people work at a company, some are others. And I'm really curious about what. So if you are an other, can you please put it in the chat? As a contractor and with an agency. The other question that we had: are you using GenAI as we speak? Okay. You have the votes there. If you can use it, I'm really curious about how experienced you are with using GenAI. We're growing. There's no one using Nope. Now, nope, we're not using. I think we have 3 votes. I can't see the real score, but some other people, you can also do it later. But I love to, I'm a data guy, so I always love to have the right data there. The other question that we have, okay, there's another coming up, there's some coming up. Okay, I will see. I will try to harvest more. If you're using it, are you using it frequently? And that means once a week, every day on some task, or maybe you're some kind of geek like I am, and I'm always have everything open. I'm just trying to research what it brings, what it can do to you. Okay, we have some answers. Not all. They're coming more. Okay. I will try to send it also to the other people so we get the full data. So I'm really curious, what will you using it for? Is this for writing job descriptions? Is it for sourcing to get you the right Boolean search or X-ray? Is it for outreach? Is it for content writing? Is it for matching your job description with resumes that you receive? Is it for writing resumes and intros, introduction letters? Nice. Some people already using it. Nice. Okay. Great. I know that some people will say, sourcing Boolean, that's hard because the search is way too broad, and most of 80% of the code that comes out won't fit into your recruiter, so you have to moderate that. But people use it. I like. Okay, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Then I'm curious about other. If you have other, then please put it in the chat so we can learn. As mentioned, we will share afterwards all details and info. This is great. Thanks. Let me see. Let's go back. Okay, we have some more details. Hey, let's. If there are already some questions. Yes, curious about it. Yes, every day. Okay, great. Harris, I know you have limited time. Other analyzers and understanding code. Yeah, I like that also. Okay. Harris, the floor is yours.
Awesome.
15 minutes of fame. I know you have a limited time, so happy to have you here. You may kick off.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. So I have till about 9:25. Is that right? Or 3:25 your time, Stefan?
Yeah.
Cool. Perfect. So hello, everybody. My name is Harris Fanaroff. I am here to talk about onboarding with you. I want this to be a conversation, so please do use the chat. Stefan, if I miss anything in the chat, please just call it out, interrupt me as I'm going through. I have some content that I want to take you all through, talks a little bit about the importance of new hire onboarding. I have helped to onboard over 3,000 people. So this is a area that is a big interest for me. I have a lot of expertise and a lot of knowledge in here, and I'm excited to share that with y'all. So let me share my screen. You're all are able to hear this? Able to see this?
Yeah.
Oh. So let's get started here. So topic for today will be new hire onboarding made simple, effective, and efficient. So first off, let's get into what is onboarding and why does it matter? So I like to refer to new hire onboarding as the process to which new hires get integrated into the organization. It includes all the activities to help you learn about the organization, its structure, its culture, its vision, mission, and values. The better we can get somebody onboarded, the quicker they can be productive for us, which leads to the higher ability for them to stay with us over the long haul. We know how hard it is to keep employees with us. So it's so important to be able to do that effectively, efficiently, and in a timely manner. So what I've done over the past year or so is try to figure out what are some of the biggest mistakes that I see companies make when it comes to new hire onboarding. I think especially in the remote world, if we're hiring somebody and they have the skills or knowledge for what that is, we assume that they know what to do. We assume, hey, they've been in this industry for a while, or they've done sales before, if they've done marketing, they definitely know how it works at this organization. Definitely a big mistake that I see companies make, no matter what type of knowledge they have in that specific role, it's going to change based on the organization. Second one here is not giving them a buddy or mentor. I think there is huge research out there that shares that our new hires will feel more engaged, more connected to the organization when they have that buddy or mentor, someone that's been there a year, 2 years that can help them get up to speed, get up to running well. Number 3 happens all too often, and the manager really is so crucial and so vital in making sure that that new hire stays at your organization and is productive. So you have a manager who might have a lot going on that doesn't have the time to be able to support and to help that new hire. Number 4, I love doing this at the beginning of a new hire's tenure. You very often ask people this question in the interview, what makes you want this job? But very rarely do you document that answer. So I'm really big into asking up front, what brought you to the organization? What's going to keep you? What motivates you? What's the best praise you've ever received? And then number 5, I am a huge believer in 30, 60, 90-day goals for new hires. Very often we just give somebody the go ahead and we don't necessarily create those goals and make it so we know whether they're being effective or not. So these are the top 5 biggest mistakes that I see organizations make. We'll be going through in today's presentation the different ways that companies attack these goals, make sure that they don't happen inside their organization. So I want to do just a 30-second exercise here. What does your current onboarding consist of? Think of the last new hire that joined your organization. What was their experience like? If you can't think of this, think of your own experience. joining the organization? What went well? What did it feel like? What could have been improved? And I'd love to get people to share a couple different ideas in the chat pod if we're open to that. What went well? What did it feel like? What could have been improved? Let's get a couple answers here in the chat pod. Think of your own onboarding or the last onboarding that you did. What went well? What did it feel like? What could have been improved? Yeah, great one. Happens all the time. We get the orientation, but not necessarily the onboarding about our specific role. Really good one. 20-day onboarding structure while energy was often flowing away. Elaborate a little bit, Stefan?
Yeah, we have. I make great plans, but most of the time you're so busy, so sometimes you forget to really make time and to really follow up. So I'm benefit of this myself. So now I'm hiring other people to do it.
Smart. Whole onboarding process took too long. Really good ones. Thank y'all for sharing. We'll keep going through here, but please keep adding and we'll keep moving along through here. So onboarding is important. Obviously, I believe that. I spend my whole career in it. It's the thing that I'm focused on. But why? Why does it matter? Onboarding matters. There are a couple statistics that really share that really mean a lot to me, ones that I really see having a big impact on organizations. So a fourth of your employees will leave their companies due to pre and onboarding issues. And we'll get into a little bit about pre-boarding and what that means. There's an 82% improvement in retention because of good onboarding. That first impression matters so much in our connection with personal friends and personal people that we meet. I would argue the same occurs for your business. So important to make that first impression be strong. 90% of new hires' decision to stay is influenced by onboarding. So if you bring in somebody on new and you have a poor onboarding experience, your ability to keep them at your organization is severely harmed. 18 times more likely to feel committed when onboarded well, and 72% say they have the best possible job if they have exceptional onboarding. The statistics are there to talk about the importance of it. I am on a mission here to make companies to focus on this more because it helps us make our new hires productive quicker, keep them in seat, and overall make them happier, which is going to make our organization more productive, more revenue at the end of the day. So this is how I think about onboarding, the 5 C's of successful onboarding. One of my favorite exercises to do with an organization is we will write down all 5 of these different. We'll write down camaraderie, connection, creative, care, and compliance. And we'll say, what are you doing uniquely at your organization to create a sense of belonging? What are you doing to help people build relationships with others? Maybe you're giving a buddy or mentor. Maybe you're setting people up for virtual coffees or in-person coffees. How are you being creative? Are you sending a swag pack and asking your new hire to take a picture of them and send it to the team? How are you providing that sense of community? And then finally, there's obviously the compliance aspect. Are you making sure the compliance is not taking too long, all forms are signed in the same place, and you're making this as easy as possible? The 5 C's of successful onboarding that will help your people to be integrated effectively into the organization. I mentioned this before, but pre-boarding. So that time from when a new hire accepts your offer until day 1 is very often a missed opportunity for many organizations. They spend all this time interviewing, finding, trying to make sure that this person shows up. They finally get the yes, they sign the document, and then nobody talks to them for the 2 weeks or the month or 2 months before they show up. Such a missed opportunity. There's a good chance that they were also interviewing with other organizations. And if those other organizations are continuing to reach out to them, it's no guarantee that they show up on day 1. There's a statistic out there that 1/3 of new hires accept and then don't show up. Such a big missed opportunity to not focus on that time from acceptance until day 1. They're so excited. Keep that momentum going. Let's talk a little bit about some ways that you can do that effectively. So what does good pre-boarding look like? Some of my favorite ideas here. The manager calls and emails to congratulate the employee on the new offer. Such a big one. So often overlooked. You find out that person says yes. Manager should call within 24 hours. Hey, Stefan, we are so excited for you to join the organization. Can't wait for you to get started. Call them within 24 hours. Talked about this one a little bit in the beginning, the motivation survey. You probably asked this in the interview phase, but you need to document this. What brought you here? What will keep you here? How can I best support you? You want that person to start to feel integrated and a part of the team, so they hear from different team members. Send scripted emails to those individuals. If possible, get your CEO to send a video via LinkedIn, via text message saying, hey, we're so excited for you to join the team. Easy place to store and sign the necessary forms. I love sending swag as part of the pre-boarding aspect. And then everyone's favorite, IT equipment confirmed and sent on time. I can't tell you the amount of times I've talked with organizations where individuals where they did not get their computer on time, so much wasted time of productivity that unfortunately goes out the way. A little bit, some ideas around pre-boarding and how it can be effectively integrated inside your organization. How I like to think about onboarding is there's the HR side and there's the manager side. HR side has a lot to do with the forms and compliance and tax documents, but really when it comes to integration to the organization, productivity, it's the manager. So the manager plays an absolutely enormous role in onboarding and pre-boarding, and it's HR's job to arm the manager with what they need to be effective. Different things that I like the manager to do in the pre-boarding phase: welcome to the team, define your first day, share relevant articles. The manager needs to use that time between acceptance and day one to build that connection with your new hire. And you do that with some of these different ideas. 6 pieces of information that you can use to get from your new hires. I love asking right when they join, hey, send me your bio, headshot, and a fun fact. Send that to the team on day one. Mailing address if you're going to send swag, career goals, how they like to be recognized, what motivates them, and then little things that end up making a pretty big impact. What's their birthday? Put it on your calendar. Make sure that you're not forgetting that. It can have a really big impact into making them feel connected, engaged to your organization. So usually if I have a little bit more time, I will go through this poll with individuals. These were the 4 biggest ones that I've seen companies go through. What are the hardest part of onboarding for your managers? Remembering to keep connecting, lack of time, knowing what I need to do, understanding how the new hire feels. All things that you want from an HR side to make sure that your managers are focusing on and ensuring that they can help with. Key steps and milestones, what you need to be doing as far as onboarding. Winning day one, so you finally get them in the door, they've accepted, you've done a great job with pre-boarding, you get them in on day one. How do we make sure that they do that effectively? Block the manager's morning. Nothing more frustrating than when you start on day one, your manager is busy all day. Ensure IT is available. No doubt they're going to have some type of issues with their computer. You want to make sure someone is there to help them. Set up meetings with new team members, prioritize who they should be meeting in the beginning of their tenure. Give them a list of the first 10 people they should reach out to and schedule with. Provide lunch if they're virtual. Send them a gift card for lunch around them. Provide them an easy win. I think this is so often an undervalued aspect of onboarding. What does an easy win look like for this person that you're bringing on? What's going to help them to build momentum in this role? What can you get them excited about? So if it's a sales role, is there a client that you can get them on the phone with that you know loves y'all and will talk with anybody that's new? Really good way to start to build some momentum and then help them to determine benefits. I'll talk very quickly about this one. I'm a huge fan of buddy or mentor programs, some tips for picking the right buddy. Do they have similar personality? Are their interests outside of work the same? Do they like the same sports team, like the same movies? And then where do they want to get better? And can that person be the right person to help them get there? So different ways to think about buddy and mentor programs. I know I am getting up on my time, so I'm going to be relatively quick here. Huge fan of 30, 60, 90-day goals for new hires. So one of the things that we do in our company is to help organizations set up 30, 60, 90-day goals at scale. So I believe the first 30 days should be about learning, the next 60 days should be about contributing, and the last 90 should be about owning. What we do is you put in your email address and the job description, and then we will create for you a customized 30, 60, 90-day goals that either, if you're the manager, you can use, or if you are HR, you can send to the manager. So I know I'm getting up on my time. I just want to go quickly through the next couple here, but just some different ways that I think about HR and the manager and everyone's role in onboarding. And I'll make sure that Stefan gets all these slides to send out with you. And then finally, just a little bit about me and my organization. So we do 3 different things at Activate. One is we are a monthly retainer sales coach. So we meet monthly with your sales reps to help them find new opportunities, close more deals, and sell with emotional intelligence. Each sales rep will get an hour with me or a member of my team, and we work with them on what are the biggest issues that they're facing and how can we help them. Number 2, I just mentioned this. We have 30, 60, 90-day plans at scale. We've created an AI tool. I know that a lot of this conversation is around AI to help your managers do this and hold them accountable for hitting their goals. So essentially, you just put in your manager's name and the job description. We create this for you. Takes us about 5 minutes, and you have what you need to hold them accountable. And then finally, we have a 6-week new hire onboarding ramp-up program. This can be done one-on-one via coaching, or we also have a course to help your sales new hires be able to be onboarded effectively and quickly. So those are the 3 different services that we have. If you are interested, I'll put my email in the chat, harris@activateonboarding.com, and I'd love to talk with you. And with that, I will stop sharing and turn it over to Stefan.
Great, man. That was fluently. Very nice. Thanks. I got a question before that comes in. Any questions? Let me look how I can get my screen back. I'm gonna fit you to the frame. So yeah, okay. Is this visible for everyone? Hey, I always like to divide an organization with tech and touch. In the near future, what we see, we love to automate everything, but you can make a difference with a touch, and that's your story. How can you, if you look at the process, how can you optimize the process with using GenAI? Harris.
So I think I agree with you 100% that there is the tech and there's the touch. What we've done with our 30, 60, 90-day plans is the AI creates it very quickly. We've put in 5,000 different 30, 60, 90-day plans that this can go through to be able to create you the best possible one. So we quickly create you 30, 60, 90-day onboarding plans. That's the tech. The touch is we want to know how you're doing. So we are sending at 1 week, we're sending a survey. At 30 days, we're sending a survey, 60 days and 90 days to say, hey, how do you feel with how your onboarding process has been going? How do you feel about hitting these goals? And we're gathering feedback and data, and then we are taking that data and information and sharing it with the overall team and saying, hey, your people aren't getting enough training on the product, or they're not getting the opportunity to meet enough people. So that's the touch, is making sure that they are getting what they need, and the tool is giving us that data. So that's how we integrate both of those as part of what we're doing at Activate.
Great, great. I see a lot of compliments coming in. I think a lot of organizations could definitely learn from this. Thank you, Harris. Is named by Cecilia. And I saw also another one from Lisa. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Very insightful. Yes, there was also a question from Jelle who said, hey, are you going to share the slides? Yeah, well, surely we'll share them, of course, with all the details and his number in it. Are there any other questions? At this time? Okay, yeah, great. My onboarding as a junior manager was unstructured and haphazard. Lack of information, lack of role definition. Yeah, I think most of people know, see that. Do you think, Harris, do you think this is an important issue of organization, why the retention is so high, but also why people really don't connect with an organization anymore?
I think most companies don't know how to do it effectively. They don't have a process in place to onboard individuals effectively. They assume that people just know what they're doing. And I think especially in this remote world that we live in, it's so important to build that connection early. If you don't do that within the first 3 months, realistically within the first 6 weeks, that person will go find another job. It's never been easier to look for another job. You have to build that connection early. and then you also want to get them up and running and productive quickly. I mean, the more time it takes them to become productive, the more you're wasting money. So I think the more that we can tie the importance of onboarding to the financial aspect of it, the more companies will start to care about it. And I'm seeing more and more companies do that, but it's definitely taken some time and some education around why this matters.
Good. Good. Thanks. Yeah, I believe, and I see an old colleague of me, and very important when I started way back. Barry, hey, welcome here. Hope you're back from Tenerife. I always said most of the organizations have a vision or a mission on the wall. I don't believe it. It's your DNA, or it is your DNA or not. So you always have to act on every element. I think Barry can agree on that. We love to have the DNA high to bring real values to the organization. Hey, if there are not any questions yet, I was surprised how this was happening in a non-profit structure. Any questions for Harris? Sorry. Yeah, great. Thanks. I really love that you joined our session today. Yeah, we're gonna share everything and speak to you soon.
Thank you, Stefan.
Have a great day. Christina.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how are you? Are you still finding your
Doing fantastic.
camera?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not, I don't know. I'm supposedly the director of tech and I can't get my camera working today. It's just how it is.
Let it go, let it go, let it go.
Well, I'm actually
I know who you are.
in a hotel room, so my whole system from in my house is set up perfectly. It's just my laptop's not cooperating.
Okay. If people want to see you, they can call you. The numbers are everywhere, and they can find you also on your LinkedIn. Shall we start with your presentation? Is sharing your screen, is that possible?
Yes, that's exactly what I want to do. 1 second. Let me.
No, I'm lost.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Nice.
Awesome.
This works.
All right, better now? All right,
Great.
so yeah, let's talk about generative AI in recruiting. I know ChatGPT has been the buzzword and AI has been the buzzword for the past probably 3 months now. And we've been talking about AI for a long time. We just don't know that we've been using it. Or even on LinkedIn, even on like Facebook, all those fantastic ads that show up in our feed all the time are based on data sets from AI and predictions of what are the things that you like. So we see this type of thing everywhere. Now, the difference is now we have what we call generative AI. And generative AI is a category of artificial intelligence that's a technique and models that are designed to generate new and original content rather than just simply analyzing or reproducing data. So before you will get a data set, analyze it. So for example, like quality control in different industries, you will have big data sets and it will tell you, okay, maybe this is not right even for customer service, or I'm getting too many calls or recalls or things like that. Things are defective. We used to use it with data to analyze data, but not to create new data from already, data that you're feeding the system. And that's the beauty of what we have now. Generative AI models, like I said, are capable of learning patterns. And this is very important to understand. Patterns instruction from training that data and using that knowledge to create new and unique outputs. And this is super important because the large language models, like the ones that are used in ChatGPT, was it GPT 3.5, GPT 4, there's Claude, there's different models that are out there, are trained in huge amount of data. They had some limitations, and I want to say it was September 2021 where the data was cut out. 2021 or 2022. I'll apologize. I forgot the year, but that's kind of like the data they trained in up to that date. But what happens with that is we don't have control on the data that they have fed the system. So now they added another portion, which is the ability to search the web. But again, we don't have control of that. Basically, you give an instruction and ChatGPT will do whatever he thinks is appropriate, not necessarily what is appropriate to you. But we'll get into that. So as I was saying, this are a couple of pros and cons from using generative AI. And I see a couple of people that replied that they have been using ChatGPT for the most part. And I want to hear your experience in a bit. But basically, pros, obviously, creating new content that's creative, that's new, that's refreshing, and you can do video, and you can even clone your own voice and train with your own voice and create an avatar and create images and all that good stuff. Data augmentation means you have a certain data set that you want to feed into the system, right? A training, but now you want to have more information or similar information. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're looking for screening questions for a candidate, and you want screening questions for an engineer and mechanical engineer, and ChatGPT, and you have a list of 10 questions and you want more, you can say, hey, ChatGPT, I have this 10 questions. Can you provide me 20 more? Now you have more data to use for your day-to-day. So that's kind of what that means. You can have a small data set and then ask ChatGPT to expand that data set. It also works very well in simulation and prediction. So, and this also has been used in the past. Obviously, we didn't have the ability to chat with a bot to get this information, but in financial systems, and like I said, in quality control, they can also predict because of past information. So I used to study the market a lot, and the market movements are pretty similar. So you can simulate the market, future, right? And you can also predict what will be the future because of past history, past data. And potentially in recruiting, an application for that could be like Harris right was saying, when you have data from surveys or onboarding, now you can predict what could happen if this candidate act this way or act a certain way, for example. And then realistic media generation, which is kind of a little bit concerning, and we're going to get to that, but it's really crazy how they now do videos that look like humans. You have AI and that's generating voice, which can be a little bit tricky because of also copyright issues and taking things out of context, and that leads me into the cons, right? The ethical concerns. There can be, obviously, there's people that are going to use this tool not in a good way. And we have to be very, very aware and very, I guess, keep our eyes open all the time to make sure that everything we're doing, it's for the good, right? And when you see people, doing it differently and acting in a way that's inappropriate, obviously report it. Intellectual property and copyright issues. We already had some issues with Samsung. A guy wanted to code something and uploaded the whole code for the company, which was probably something that they potentially will patent. So you have to be very careful what you put into the system. Try to use the majority of the public information or known information. If it's a candidate information, obviously don't send their email address and their phone number and things like that, and their address. Most likely you will use the LinkedIn profile if you're doing anything with that, which is publicly available, so you're not infringing anything there. The last two are, for me, the most important ones in terms of what you need to do to know to be able to control this thing. So one is bias amplification, and that means that the output is going to be as good as the data that someone provided to the system. So we have a large language model in ChatGPT 4 that somebody's put a data set, and that somebody made the decision on what data was good and what data was bad, right? So what that means is what is going to be generated is based on that data. So that person's bias or the way they think about social issues or politics or medical situations. We have this, the COVID situation where there were different opinions. One opinion might be pushed more than the other because you're not controlling the data inputs. So that's very important to understand. And a lot of people that I see using AI, I include myself, when I started using it, I was just prompting. And I will prompt and prompt and prompt and get very okay results, but not what I wanted to really get. Until I realized that for you to get something that is in line to the way you think or the way you act or the way you want to convey our information, you need to provide the information to the AI. And we're going to get that to that in in future slides. Another thing is lack of control. And this is why I tell people don't memorize prompts. Because if you memorize prompts, you're gonna copy paste the prompt today and get a result. Tomorrow you might do the same thing and you're gonna get a different result. And this has happened to me many, many times. And this is why people get frustrated. Oh, this is not working. And it's because it evolves. Generative AI has two sides of it. So it has a data set. It predicts the best output. And what it does is it will predict the best word according to the data sets that it has. It's not thinker, is a doer. You as a person are the thinker telling the AI what to do in the context of what, and the context and control of what the output that you want. And that is something that people think it's like, okay, it's going to do everything for me. Well, no, you have to control it. So when it comes to lack of control, you have to be very specific on what you're doing and understand that this is going to change. The model is going to evolve. More data is going to be added. Now we have internet and we don't control what part of the internet it's searching for. That's another bias, right? That's another lack of control that we have. So my best advice is learn how to talk to it. And think of AI like you're talking to another human being. Like if I'm talking to Stefan for the first time in my life and I say, hey, Stefan, can you write me a LinkedIn post about recruiting for Digital Recruiter? He's going to give me something general. He has no clue who I am. He has no clue about my company. So if I don't provide him with a context of what I want that to look like, what is going to happen? It's just going to be something general and probably is not going to give you anything that's usable. And I think that's something that a lot of us started to realize later when we started providing the data to the AI. So some of the apps, and I know Jobbing Cloud is not included here, but I actually talked to Mikel a while ago, and they do have a lot of AI integrations. But this is other different different ones that I've seen and I've used in the past that are powered by AI, and some of them have generative AI. So MetaView, for those that don't know, MetaView is a new platform where you can have a conversation with a candidate over the phone. It records the conversation, transcribes the conversation, gives you the candidate submittal, and also gives you the highlights, and you can customize it however you want in terms of like questions that you ask and the response and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Hone It, I really like it. It's kind of the same as MetaView. It has a little bit more robust platform. It also records calls or Zoom. It has scheduling capabilities. It can record the call, transcribe it, submittals. You can have a CRM. You can send the information to the hiring manager, like a snippet of what the, snippet that you liked about what the candidate respond. You can send that to the hiring manager. And it also integrates with a lot of ATSs, so you can upload the data automatically. Fireflies is one of my favorite. I use Fireflies for all the conversations that I have on Zoom. or any meeting. I think Stefan is using it now. I also create a lot of content with my voice, and I'll recommend everybody do that. I record myself talking, and I use the transcription to create my content, because that way it's my own words, and in the generative AI understand, okay, Cristina wants to talk about this. This is the words that Cristina uses. So we're not gonna say something else when the information that she wants to convey is right there with the voice. So I use that a lot to create summaries from my calls, from the clients, and provide the action items. It does all that for you. Then we have Loxo, Bullhorn, Manitoul, and Jobbing Cloud. They all have the AI matching for like the job description. So you put a job description in, it will match some candidates, source some candidates for you. You can look at the AI matching and decide if it's good or bad. And then you continue training. So machine learning means you are giving feedback to the AI to say, okay, this is good, this is bad. And you can do that with ChatGPT as well. And that's how it improves upon itself. So I know Loxo has and Jobbing Cloud has automated outreach, but also AI generated outreach. I haven't tried that portion of it to be able to speak to it, but I'm sure Mikel will do that. And then Manitoul as well. They all have AI matching. So you send the job description, it'll give you a couple of candidates that might be relevant. So let's talk about leveraging ChatGPT for searches and for recruiting. So when we are preparing for a search, we have to have all the relevant information, right? That we are going to provide to ChatGPT. We're not going to assume that ChatGPT understands anything that we're doing. It doesn't know what's the job description that we're working on. He doesn't know. We're going to assume it doesn't know anything about the company and the relevant information. Obviously, transcriptions maybe that you have with a hiring manager call, or note that you took from the intake call might be helpful. Sometimes you don't need it. Candidate's resume or their LinkedIn profile, you can download it as a PDF and copy paste that into ChatGPT. So most likely those are the 4 things that you will use when you're sourcing for a candidate, in sourcing and screening and submitting a candidate. So that portion of ChatGPT use, you need to, I suggest to have at least those 4 or at least 3. You don't need the transcription for the hiring manager, for at least the first 2 and the last one you should have. Then what do we use ChatGPT for, and what have I use it for? Company research. If you don't know the company, it can help you do research. Who is the company competitors? What products are they doing? What's the industry? What's the market size? What's the market in that industry in the coming future? What's the prediction? Optimizing job descriptions. Maybe the job description is not that enticing and we want to make it better. That's something that ChatGPT can do. Crafting messaging sequences, of crafting cool messages for the candidates that, again, are engaging. Identifying ideal candidates, their titles, their skills. And this is with AI matching, and also like Boolean suggestions, candidate screening questions, and candidate submittals. Obviously, today I don't have time for all that, but a lot of those tutorials I have on my page on the feature section. I'm going to show today 2 of the use cases that I've shown before, which is sourcing and then submitting a candidate using ChatGPT. And I literally copy what the steps are from my original PDF. So when you go look for it as a reference, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's start with sourcing with ChatGPT. You will see that I used Sales Navigator because that's my preferred tool, but you can do exactly the same thing with LinkedIn Recruiter. So remember I told you ChatGPT has no clue who you are, has no clue what you're about to do. So I always suggest people to prep the AI, meaning, hey AI, I am going to be doing this and I need your help doing this, okay? Because that way it understands exactly what are the steps that it's going to be completing. So this is what I prompt. My prompt is on the top. It says, "Hi there, I am a tech recruiter that will be conducting a search for a software engineer for Apple. Please learn the information on the company and the job description I will provide. Confirm that you understand the task." Okay. And it says, "Hello, I understand your request. You want me to learn information about Apple Inc. and a specific job description for a software engineer position at the company." And then it says, "Provide me the details and I'll do my best to understand and incorporate this information into the future responses." Okay, perfect. He understood what I want. Now, Apple is a very, very well-known company. And I apologize that this is very small, but again, you will be able to access all of this on my profile. So the first thing you do is you're going to add the company information so he understands the context of the company. So what I did is I just said, okay, here's the information to learn about the company. I literally copied the summary of Apple from the LinkedIn profile or any website that might have like an about or some sort of like short summary of what the company is. But obviously, everybody knows Apple. So then it starts generating like, "Thank you for providing the information. I understand that Apple is a company, blah, blah, blah." It kind of repeats of what I just told him or told it, sorry. And then it says, "Now please provide me with a job description, the software engineer position you want me to learn." So it already knows that he needs another step, right, to complete the task that I specify at the beginning. So here's a job description. So here's a full job description. And then I just copy pasted a job description from LinkedIn that Apple had open. Okay. So when that happens, it's again, it's going to repeat, "Yeah, thank you for providing the job description. I have now learned the details of this sales engineer position. Here's a summary. Here's the key qualifications I got, the description, additional requirements, pay benefits, everything that you copy pasted into into the ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT has learned. So now he knows about the company. Now he knows about the job description. Now it's time for me to prompt, right? And this is now what I want to do and specifically source a candidate for this. So I say, in my case, I said, act as a sales navigator expert. If you're using LinkedIn Recruiter or any other method, you can say, act as a LinkedIn Recruiter expert or any other, or as an X-ray expert, for example. And I said, provide filters, job title Boolean, and this is important because I use job title Boolean specifically versus keyword Boolean. There's two things. So I wanted to build a Boolean specific to the job title, and I wanted to build a keyword specific Boolean separately. And then I said for a lead search, because Sales Navigator has account and lead search. So I have to specify because I've had the situation before where I didn't specify and then it will mix the two filters, okay? So for a lead search on Sales Navigator, to find candidates for the following company and job description. And I say be accurate. And if you guys don't know why I say be accurate, it's because sometimes if you don't say be accurate or don't hallucinate, that's another one that you can say, ChatGPT can make up stuff because it gets creative. So make sure that what you're doing is getting accurate information. So after I give the information on the company, the job description, now I'm asking, okay, I need you to help me source. So it says, to perform a lead search in the Sales Navigator for candidates matching their provided software engineering job description at Apple, you can use the following filters: job title, Boolean, and keyword. So it gives me the filter. So it's suggesting industry, computer software, information technology, electrical, electronic manufacturing, and internet. That's my industries. Locations, Cupertino, California or nearby areas. Current companies, exclude Apple. So it identified that obviously we're not going to source from Apple. Job experience, depending on the level of expertise required, you might want to do mid, senior level, entry level. Years of experience that are ranged based on the requirements, which is 3 to 7 years. It's reminding you about the requirements of the job description. And then it gives you some keywords, which is software engineer and augmented reality, and gives you a lot of variations of things that you can use a keyword. Then at the bottom,
Cristina,
yeah.
sorry, 1 minute.
Oh, I have 1 more minute. All right, so I'll go fast.
Thanks.
So yeah, so essentially, sorry. So essentially, it's just it gives you all the information you need to source, and then you can ask to expand, and it will give you more of those. So candidate submittals, I'll go fast. Same thing, same concept. You will send the job description into ChatGPT and the company. Then this is myself, so I just copy my own LinkedIn profile, send it over there, and then I ask to provide me an email for the hiring manager for that job description and this candidate, and it will do it completely for you. Sorry guys, I'm very passionate about this, and but all this you can find on my profile, so that's why I did it this way.
You never have to say, you never have to apologize, Christine. I really like how deep you go and help people to learn and understand, really understand it. Some people think, yeah, we're already using Gen AI and everything, but most of the people just starting, because it's since November last year it's out. Everybody says, yeah, we're in the middle of the game. I think we're in front of the game, and there's just the entrance going. I really like your presentation. Are there some questions from the crowd?
Probably millions, since I went too fast.
No, yeah, of course. There's a question, there's a long question. I wanted to understand an industry use case on how you or your organization may have experienced an ethical bias firsthand, and how do you handle the same?
Oh, wait, where is it? I'm trying to read it. Okay.
Good question.
So okay, I totally understand what you're saying, and this is a problem, but this is not I don't think this is an AI problem. I think this is a human problem, because the data set and how do you train the AI to think, it's how it's going to think, basically. That's why I said it augments the bias. So the bias is not coming from the AI. The bias is coming from the person that's training the AI. And that's what we have to really, really be focused on, right? What are the ethics behind it? I don't think it's going to substitute recruiters at all. This is more about how can we augment the capabilities of our recruiter to be faster, right? But then when you get to the screening part, that's where you are going to be able to determine if the person's qualified or not. Now, yes, there's a lot of things that can eliminate candidates, but again, it's just how you set up the system. Let me see. So, can you talk about how to stop making? Okay, so it will make things up. It will make things up. Yes, it's tough. It's a tough one. That's why you have to be very specific. And my recommendation is feed it as much information that's reliable to you, that you know it's accurate from the get-go. And to finish up with the other Dr. Shora, like, I think biases are going to exist. It's part of human nature. How to mitigate that? It's going to be someone that is going to be more concerned, or I guess you have to have somebody that's controlling what the data inputs are. Now, what I see this going, and when I see this being very, very effective, is not as ChatGPT. It's going to be using ChatGPT as a base, but then building your own tool that has a use case for your business, where you can train on your own data and then put more weight on the data that you're providing, rather than the generalized data from ChatGPT. And that's coming up. I'm already in the talks with people that are producing something to build chatbots around your business cases. And I think that's ultimately what's going to be the difference. Oh, 100% ChatGPT over Bard. I don't like Bard at all.
Okay.
At all.
I have to, sorry, I have to stop this because otherwise we're getting out of our time. I love the questions. I think what we can do, Cristina, is I will send you the questions so you can answer, and we will also share that in a later stadium.
Yeah.
I really love your energy always. I love to talk to you. Maybe we can also ask you for next time. We're also trying to set up a Discord specific channel on this, where we do a weekly 30-minute session, how you can grow with AI, because AI doesn't stop. It's just there. I'm just sharing you a link. If you have some time, just try it out. It only asks you for 3 fields. It's your name, it's your email address, and put in a function there. And you will find out that within 2 minutes you have a full job description as an inspiration in your email. But that's the thing that I like to build. I really love how deep and you go and your passion in this. Cristina, may I thank you? And I see that many people are really happy with you. You received a lot of compliments, so thank you from all of us.
Yeah, no, and I'll continue to answer questions. So keep it coming.
Yeah, great. Hey, have a great week, because you have an athlete week. I thought you have an event.
Yeah, I'm here in Chicago at a volleyball event. So
Great. Good luck. I will speak to you next week, but I will sum up all the questions. If you have time, I will share the invites and the attendees. Thanks again. Michael, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. And I also wanted to thank Cristina, as well as her introduction is basically goes perfectly in line with basically what I wanted to discuss today, as it gives you those best practices on what you should do or not do when using a generative AI, especially in particular with ChatGPT. And I, in fact, I just wanted to go, one step backward as well and give a bit more of a general, discussion of why is it that generative AI has caught our interest this much? Why is it, why is it the talk of the year, I'd say, and it's probably also going to continue being the talk of the year as it always goes evolving. Why is it that it caught our interest this much? And in my opinion, the reason behind that was because, well, the generative AI makes our life easier. It helps us automate those tasks. It helps us automatically create those job descriptions, or it helps us automate creating those messages. It helps us speed up our workflow. It helps us, well, basically automate. And that's exactly what Drupal Cloud also does, as it's basically an all-in-one automation tool that helps in automating screening, automating identifying valid and screening and identifying, fitting candidates. It helps also in automating the outreach. But speaking of generative AI, Drupal Cloud also helps in actually combining the generative AI of ChatGPT into the automated outreach, so that you can actually not just have the benefits of a generative AI in automating the creation of a message, but you can combine that with the automation of actually sending out that message as well. Now, Christine, I think you're still sharing your screen. Yes.
I was trying to take over, but somehow it.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to share directly, actually in practice this. I want to show it actually in action on how it operates. I want to share directly, basically Drupal Cloud itself, and show in action what it can do with ChatGPT. And it goes hand in hand with Christina's recommendations, as well as I can actually basically show another usage case of what Cristina was explaining earlier, and why it's so important to basically follow those guidelines she mentioned. So I'll go ahead and actually share my screen here. And what I'll be sharing is, well, basically my entire screen about Drupal Cloud. And what I wanted to show here in practice is these are several contacts that I happen to have imported into my repository. But staying on subject with the generative AI aspect, I wanted to actually showcase the messaging capabilities of basically what I can do with it. And I wanted to select, for example, a contact that I have in my database. And this basically all automatically been sourced from LinkedIn. So I have their professional experiences, their information, just for some context, so that for the build up to the context needed to then showcase the ChatGPT integration, the sourcing capabilities of Drupin allow me to actually source the full LinkedIn profile of any contact, be it their summaries, professional experiences, user experience, educations, skills, accomplishments, pretty much all that information, including company information. And the reason I wanted to mention this and show this is because all that information, as mentioned also by Cristina, is necessary because ChatGPT, if you want to use it to create a prompt, to create a message for you, it needs to know the context. It needs to have that information so that it knows what it can actually write. Because if you don't give it the context, the way I like to kind of explain it is ChatGPT is it's an intelligent person, but it's deprived of senses. So to clarify, is a person, if you ask them to, I guess, describe themselves and they find themselves in an office, they can basically have their senses. They can see that they're in an office, and through common sense, they then basically describe themselves in a professional manner, maybe because it's an interview. But ChatGPT doesn't have these senses. It can't see where it is. It can't see the environment it's in. So unless you tell it what it needs to do, who it needs to be, and what environment it should adapt to, it's not going to be actually relevant to what you're looking for. So as Cristina mentioned, you have to be you have to be experienced in knowing how to control, how to command the ChatGPT prompt into giving you that output you want. And Drupin helps in automating that aspect, because just as it automates importing all that information for a profile, it helps us then automatically pass that information over to ChatGPT, so we can actually automatically give it all the context it needs for an actual personalized and intelligently auto-compiled prompt for us. And just to kind of quickly showcase, one of the actions you can, of course, run in Drupin is you can automate outreach. And that's specifically what I want to go more in detail on here, because that's exactly what Drupin's ChatGPT integration helps us in integrating with. So if I select a contact, for example, that I want to send a message to, when I pick the message option that I want to reach out to them, instead of having to rely on the message that I have to write myself, and I can say I compile it with those usual standard smart fields that you can use to, I can say, quote their names, I can actually combine that with a auto-generated text that ChatGPT created for me. And just to kind of quickly show it actually in action, these are several prompts that I built as examples. And I happen to have, for example, this icebreaker prompt that I can then also select which job I'm referring to. I happen to have a couple of examples that I built. And we can actually see how it automatically creates a message for me for, in this case, Rupesh. And I'll also show in a second how I built this prompt and why it's then giving me this nicely personalized message. So as soon as I press here, show preview, it basically generates this prompt for me automatically. And I guess I give it here a minute as it's communicating with ChatGPT and so on. So here it's basically giving me this nice introductory message saying, "Hi Rupesh, I'm impressed by your experience, software development experience, your extensive, sorry, I can't even read. I'm impressed by your extensive software development experience and list of amazing skills. I'd be really keen to know more about your cross-skill knowledge of REST APIs, developing web applications with intensive JS stack. Let's chat." This is all information. I haven't really read through Rupesh's profile, but this is all information that ChatGPT automatically grabbed for me that Rupesh mentioned in their profile, and then gave me this, I guess, wonderful introductory message that is nicely personalized, that helps me not just compile that message, but also then send it out. And since it's been done all automatically, I can do this at scale as well. So I can, rather than just selecting Rupesh on his own, I can select 50 contacts and in bulk have a perfectly personalized message like this send out for them. But for more context on how did I create this prompt, how, I guess, did I achieve this? And this also is important that you listen carefully on Cristina's demonstration, because you need to grasp properly those aspects that she also mentioned, because you're going to need to create that prompt. You can create the prompts from this Manage ChatGPT Prompts button, and this is the menu where you write down the prompt that you want to give to ChatGPT, and Drupin will then automatically basically pass that prompt over and output the results. So this is where I can type out whatever question or prompt I wanted for ChatGPT, but the additional automation here is that I can combine that with the smart fields of a contact. So rather than having to always write everything myself, saying, act as a recruiter, this is the contact's name, this is their summary, and so on, I can have Drupin do that for me. I can use the smart field of the contact's label here and directly have it quote any specific piece of information that Drupin has automatically imported for us from these contacts. So I can quote their names, their roles, companies, user experience, locations, summaries, and all that. And to actually showcase the exact prompt I was using in that message that I showed earlier, I was using the icebreaker message here. And this is exactly that prompt that I gave it. And this also follows those recommendations of Cristina, so it goes perfectly in line. I am telling it how it should act. I'm saying you're a recruiter, so it knows what type of message it needs to write. And then I'm also saying that first name is going to quote the name of whichever contact I have selected is a potential candidate. And I don't even have to worry about which job I'm hiring for, as I can directly select that. So it's going to quote whichever job I have selected. I can also quote additional information about the job, like what salaries or what locations or so on that the job offers. But just to keep it simple, I'm simply quoting the position of the job, which in that case happened to be for a Java developer. And then I'm saying, I guess, what I wanted to do. I wanted to write a creative and unique icebreaker introductory message to catch first name's attention. And basically, that's the usual command that you would write, but this time I don't need to add all that information myself. Drupal is doing it for me. And I'm adding additional information on top of that name, of course, because it needs the context to know, I guess, what to write. And I say it needs to take into consideration first name's experience at the company they're currently working in, their role, their starting date of experience, and also their listed skills and their profile summary. So I've now automatically given ChatGPT all the context it needs, basically following those guidelines of Cristina. So I properly have the prompt that I can easily control. And then I'm telling it that I wanted to output a message within maximum 50 words. And I can also give it a styling preference if I want. I didn't add one in my case. I simply then give it the name of how I want to call this prompt, and I can then load in that prompt anytime when I want to write a message. But the nice thing about this as well, because as mentioned by Cristina, you shouldn't exclusively rely on ChatGPT. It's not I guess, a one ticket, I guess, a solution. You're going to want to combine it with your own knowledge. So this is also another advantage, because the prompt that we have that ChatGPT that we created, the icebreaker message in this case, I called it, that we're quoting, isn't forcing us to rely on ChatGPT. I can in fact combine this message with whatever actual text I want to write. So this means that I can basically have the hybrid, the flexibility of my manually written text that I've seen myself that works, where I can mention, for example, a great call to action with a link to my, I guess, calendar or so on. And then I can combine it with any personalized text I want ChatGPT to instead do for me, like that introductory message that catches their attention by mentioning why I'm reaching out to them. And just like that, you get basically the best of both worlds, allowing you to combine the automation of having the message written together with the automation of actually having it then outputted automatic for you. So all you actually need to do at the end of the day, once you have this set up, is you can directly create these pre-built messages that then automatically adapt for you. And you can basically in just one click have your entire campaigns sent out. And you can also create automated follow-ups with the Drupal Cloud so that you don't even have to memorize to, I guess, reach out to someone again on a day later. And you can actually have that all automatically operated for you. And yeah, I guess I'd be happy also to, I guess, cover some additional features, but keeping in touch with the, keeping in, I guess, in line with the generative AI. I can also give a bit of a sneak peek of an additional tool that Drupal Cloud has that Stefan, I guess, despite being a Drupal user, doesn't actually know yet of. So this is also a surprise for you as well. And that is that we've actually built an additional extension called Jobby, which is basically an additional add-on that you can have in your page that uses the ChatGPT API, and it's basically easy access to ChatGPT. I can directly ask any questions or have it, well, it's as if I had ChatGPT at my fingertips, and I can just ask it anything I want. And it comes also loaded with a ton of pre-built prompts and templates. So if I open, for example, this advanced menu, I can have it find specific business-related prompts or templates that I can use, or maybe for recruitment prompts. So I can, for example, say, I want to, who knows, I guess, yeah, these are various prompts I can use, like a job description, as mentioned. And this automatically is a prompt template that says, create a job description for, and then I mention what the content is. So I can have it basically at my fingertips, combine that with the creation of the message, the, I guess, pretty much the experimentation, because as Cristina mentioned, to properly be able to, I guess you have to learn how to use ChatGPT, you have to know what task and what terminology to use. So you can kind of experiment with that on this side to just write what the prompt is, what you want, and you can have it outputted for you. And I could say just to showcase this example, I'll write Java developer again for a developer there, sorry. And of course, this is not following Christina's guidelines because I'm only writing the title. You're of course supposed to give it more context and so on. But just to showcase, I guess, the easy access to it, I just press submit, and my bad there. Okay, my mistake. I didn't prepare that, but yeah, okay. I would have, like I said, this would basically give me that ChatGPT prompt token for me that I haven't yet, I guess, synchronized to my account, so my bad there. But yeah, it would basically give me that outputted result with the, like I said, the prompt from ChatGPT easily accessible from that menu on the right. And I can then basically say, oh yeah, I like that message, and I can just copy paste it and add it into my message directly here. Or I can copy paste the prompt format and have it used as an actual prompt that I then add to my campaigns to have it then fully automated. And yeah, pretty much, like I say, that covers those 15 minutes of time that you gave me, Stefan. So I guess this is great timing for, I guess, answering any questions. Like I say, I'll have to scroll a bit up to actually find all the questions earlier. I'd see. Okay.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Great presentation. I even didn't know the jobbing, so that's
yeah, that's a surprise. Yeah.
Nice.
It has not yet been announced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it's completely new.
So we had a first gig. Great. When is it live?
Yeah, we plan on having it live probably by Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, it's an easy access menu for either a huge array of prompts that are relevant to our marketing or recruitment aspects, and of course also basically ChatGPT, so you can ask it anything you want, and it then outputs that prompt for you.
Yeah. Hey, Jelle had a question. Which set do you use in Jobbin?
Yes, sorry. So I actually lost count of where the questions were. So I'm gonna scroll up a bit.
I somehow fixed it. Or not fixed it. I tried to pin it, but
yes, sorry.
The question was which set do you use in Jobbin?
Yes. So as in sets, you mean the plans or which I guess I'd need a because yeah, by set, what do you mean by set? It's a bit generic, so I don't know exactly. But yeah, I'll wait for the answer later on. I guess I'll move ahead with the next question. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, the plan. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I guess the plans are also very customizable. So you can actually upgrade them at any time. So if you want, you can actually start out on a lower plan, and you can then simply upgrade to a larger plan as needed. So you're not like forced into making an automatic decision, and you're then stuck with it for the remainder of the month or so on. But the plans we actually recommend the most, basically the most cost-effective plans, are generally on the Pro tier. Pro tier is for those that actually use, I guess, those functionalities professionally. So say you want to automate LinkedIn automation actions professionally because you're a recruiter, then the Pro plan is ideal for you. The Ultimate, which is that tier above, is instead more for like very high scale individuals. So like, for example, if you're an agency or if you're just like very, I guess, yeah, hyperactive and you work a lot on your outreach. So generally, Pro plan, I'd say, is always the go-to for any of the types of modules that you'd be interested in. But yeah, I guess then for the other, I guess so Cristina was also, I guess, helping along in the examples I see in the chat. So she was giving out great examples. And I guess, yeah, so yeah, exactly. So I was looking at, yeah, basically it makes personalized messages for every person in one click, or yeah, pretty much you kind of create the prompt that you want it to utilize. You write in the contents or the message that you want to send out. You can combine it, of course, with your own message. And then all you need to do is select which contacts you want to send that message to. And then in one click, done. And I was actually showing this single message option, which is a single bulk operation, that nicely personalized message for each recipient. But it can also actually create a campaign. And that campaign is basically a combination, an entire map of other actions. So just to kind of quickly showcase it just as an image here, it basically creates this kind of map here, where we can have all a series of various actions in that sequence. So it's not just one message sent in bulk, but it's potentially an entire sequence of messages that can also adapt and change even further based on actions that the contact does. Like, for example, in this case, if they accept the invitation or if they don't. And then, yeah, also Marianne, I believe, yeah, so So it's a pleasure to see you as well here. So I'm quite well acquainted with you. So I guess so. I guess all just very general compliments. Thank you. And Stephanie, I think you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. Jelle is asking, can you show the final message that comes out when the prompt you used here?
Yes. So that final message was actually directly displayed in that preview. So if you want to ever preview the message and how it looks like, all you need to do is when writing that message, I guess I can very easily just write it again. And actually, it's maybe going to even generate a new one for me because it's a ChatGPT. So all I need to do here is I select that prompt I want. I can then select which job I'm referring to. These are a couple random jobs I created. So I can select the Java developer job here. And I can then write, just for the sake of example, I'll combine it with my own message. So I'll write this as the full text and add the, who knows their name, let's say. So just to kind of showcase that you can combine the two. If I now press on show preview, I can automatically see how that final message will look like. So you don't have to be left guessing on how it's going to appear. You can just press show preview, and that's going to, well, basically communicate with ChatGPT, see what it outputs, and there you have it. It's, I guess, yeah, slightly different as you can see because it's creative, it's an AI, so it gave me a different message this time. But it nevertheless created a nice personalized introductory message based on the actual skills and capabilities of Rupesh, in line with the Java developer job that I'm hiring for. And then it also has my custom text that I added here at the bottom. So yeah, basically it allows you to very easily preview that message as well. And yeah, I'm having a bit difficulties following around with all the questions. So, I guess, yeah, multi-managing there. And yes.
Great. Thanks.
And yeah, then perfect.
Michael,
and,
I really love your tool. I love the automation also, and also the the message flow that you see. I really like to recommend it. Thanks for your presentation. If there are other questions, I will put it on it, and yeah, we'll answer them later also. Thanks.
I'll leave the rest to you, and then yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. For the last presentation, we're going to present myself a little element. Let me look if I don't know how to get it back normal. How does it work? Stop spotlighting. Okay. So the last energy, last 10 minutes. I try to keep it small. Let's see if it's there. Let me see one moment. Yeah, okay. This is what we had. As mentioned when I started, I always look at the organization where you have tech and touch. Yeah, this is not necessary. Touch is you help people to reach their full potential. Touch is the thing that, as also you saw with Harris, and you saw also how you program your prompts, is to make it real personal. You have to really divide the questions. What we learned in the last years with last months with prompting is that you have to be precise, and that's the most important element there, because otherwise it's fake and you get a lot of bias there. So you have to make it personal. And on the other hand, we look at tech, is how can we create more value and how can we go faster? I always ask that question. So what I want to look at you at this moment is how can you optimize with tech your sourcing? So you saw already with Cristina talk about sales. You also saw, unfortunately, not enough. The tokens were not there, but the job description. But I think if you use the chat, the link that I shared there, and I will share it afterwards also, you get a job description directly in your an inspirational job description in your email. You can use it for sourcing. You can use it for the outreach, as also Michael showed. You can use it for matching, and for rewriting the resumes. That's something that I think we forgot in the last 10 years. Everybody's sending their own PDF, but it's not focused on the questions that the hiring manager has, because they prioritize on specific elements, and somehow we just throw our standard resume to the people. You can optimize it by using ChatGPT and using this in your structure to become more successful. The most important thing that I like to challenge you is what we did today is we're not taking you through the deepness of ChatGPT only, because you have to learn a lot about how to using it, but I will share also the information how to build a prompt and how you can actually use temperature and that kind of things to be precise. Because if you have a temperature in your prompt, it's way too broad. You get so much information, so you have to be precise. But if you look at your candidate journey, and I think this is a general candidate journey, you write a job description, you start sourcing, you have applications, then there's a screening, you do the matching, you do proposing, the first interviews, assessments, second interview, and a proposal. And after that, there's the moment that you sign a job. I think this is a general candidate journey. How can you optimize things? Before starting with using ChatGPT, look at your process. Look at the elements that you say, okay, if we want to use it, what is the quality? That's the most important thing. What quality do we like to achieve? And what's the thing where we like to speed up? So if you are with your team, and we're happy to help you with that, just look at your organization and the process and the hiring managers and look at how you can speed up the process. Because there's a lot of things that you can put in, but the most important thing is to build it up and to really be precise in automation. We will share afterwards some new tools that you can use just to speed up, just to get some inspiration, and also how you can build that process. Last thing, I was taking a little bit shorter because I don't want to run out of time, but we'll have a next session also. The link in here is the job description automation. We will share also some other tools later. And of course, we have from our great partner a 15% discount if you want to start using Job and Cloud. And that's the most important one. I'm not trying to really sell it. What you see in most organizations is people always are busy with sourcing, getting new people in. Do you know what it means to stay connected with the right people? People that are already in your LinkedIn, in your network. How to update them, how to send new messages, how to integrate also Job and Cloud to this specific elements to really keep your relationship going. Because not only getting people in, of course, that's great. But on the other hand, try to build up the relationship so you can create more value. So that's my 2 thoughts on this. If you'd like to learn more, I will share all the information afterwards. Are there any questions for now? No, great. I don't know, Harris is not here anymore. But I want to thank all the speakers, really expert speakers. I love the energy. Harris, you're not there anymore, but I want to thank you all. Cristina, I don't know if you're still there, but I think you're already busy also with your events. Oh, great.
I'm here.
Thanks for your extra time also to answer all the questions. We will share all info. If people want to reach out, I will also share the links. Michael, thank you for your specific insights on Job and Cloud and the new future that I'm really looking forward for Monday and try to build it with my team. How and when can we receive the slides from all speakers? Yeah, after this, I have the formal one qualification, so I will really looking forward for that. But I will make time, Jelle, to share everything, and you will receive everything. So that will be soon, before Tuesday. Next, great. Appreciate. Thanks all for being here. We'd love to invite you for a second event, and later on also for our Discord. If there are any questions later, just send me over and we'll get back in contact. Thanks, everyone.